Hello YouTube, this is take two actually. I started up I was just taking pictures. I'm going to show you something pretty cool. This is the next station. This is called the next step, I guess, or whatever. Take a look at this. Press the power key. Do I really want to turn off? Boom. Pretty cool stuff. And here we also are showcasing good old a Microsoft SE, not quite the 1984 version, but pretty close. So we're going to have to do a restart here, just so you can actually hear that beautiful chime. So this is my vintage computer collection. Music to my ears. What a wonderful product. And we'll go ahead and start up the other one, the next step. This was the Steve Jobs kind of spin-off company after he got fired from Apple. Power button, and you'll notice you get that coming up, and we'll log in and take a look. Ode to Steve Jobs. So Steve has stepped down as being a CEO from Apple today. Wow, historic moment in history. Obviously he said it's due to his health. I hope you're doing well, Steve, and I hope you get better. Nice to see you at the helm, running the show, and I'm looking forward to buying an iPhone 5, and it would be great if you actually still presented it. But we'll see what happens. So what does this mean for Apple? Steve Jobs is Apple. And we saw what happened when he got fired from Apple and he left. You know, various products were invented, and, you know, they needed an operating system. They really needed something. They couldn't quite get the edge. So they ended up buying Steve Jobs' company, because he created what's called the Next. So here's a shot of it, you know. Brilliant, brilliant computer. So here's the logon screen you can see here. And I'll just take notice how it shook there? I did that on purpose. That is basically the granddaddy of OS X. So we'll go ahead and we'll actually log in here. And you'll see that this actually looks very similar. This is the roots of where OS X came from. So when they bought Steve Jobs back for $5 million or whatever it was, this was the operating system. Basically they were after this software. They couldn't get to this. And it's brilliant. Everything was made with objects, a dock, you know, we can actually add things here and open things up with a dock. It was just brilliant. So we can do a double click, and you've got the icons, and everything look very similar. Very, very cool idea. The computer slab with a brilliant monitor. Excellent. So here's basically a shot of it. So what's going to happen to Apple? What do we think is going to happen now? They're sort of visionary. Steve Jobs, like, who could see 5 years in the future, is not going to be, you know, the CEO or the guy in the head. I hope there's enough vision in the company that he's sort of, you know, given the legacy for them to follow. Because I love Apple products. I mean, who in their right mind, you know, has one of these things? Thanks to a buddy of mine, they gave me this. But the vintage collection here, this is crazy, you know. So Steve, you'll be missed as a CEO. Hopefully your products will be the same. Like when you left, even when you're sick leave, things changed. It was a different Apple. It was different. So I want to end this video as an ode to Steve Jobs, basically with my first email that I ever got from Steve, which is really funny because it's a canned message, but it's Steve, basically that, and very, very cool, absolutely brilliant. I'll just go ahead and show you one other feature here, which is absolutely really cool. And it's called lip service. So this is like a 20-year-old computer or something like that, and I can actually record myself saying something, which is really cool. So here we go. Steve Jobs, you know, wow, you've been such an incredible visionary for Apple. You created products like this 5-10 years before they were popular. And what's in your brain for what you're creating is probably 5 years out. We just can't fathom it. We can't do it. So let's take a look. We can actually listen to this.
Cool. So here we go. Steve Jobs, you know, wow, you've been such an incredible visionary for Apple. You created products like this 5, 10 years before they were popular.
Huh?
And what's in your brain?
Pretty cool stuff. They called it lip
5
service.
years out.
So I can stop and actually insert this into my file, and I got a nice little lips. Pretty cool. You know, and then we double click the lips, and we can actually get it playing again. Pretty phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Cool. So here we go. Steve Jobs, you know, wow.
So I pulled out my original email because there we go, Steve. Ode to Steve Jobs. May you get better, may you become back as the CEO, and if not, may the legacy live on so us Apple fanboys can have more and more products to gobble up. Cheers.